The first thing I want people to understand is this happened in a church. So basically what happened is he was sitting next to a Muslim who was allowed to, over the course of about 2 hours, give out one piece of propaganda after another without being challenged. Because you heard over and over again, he kept saying, this is not a debate.
Right.
This is a dialogue. And as you watch this whole thing, what you quickly see is the Muslim can just say whatever he wants unchallenged. Now, this isn't happening at Starbucks. You know, if I was going to do this kind of thing, I would say, let's meet at Starbucks and have a conversation if that's what you want to do. This is happening in a church in front of God's people. Now, the last time I checked, the shepherd is supposed to guard the sheep from the wolf.
That's right.
And what's happening here is the wolf is let right in the door. And you see, the moment you give someone equal time in a church, whether James White understands this or not, you are authenticating the message that they give. Not here, but elsewhere, he uses the phrase refreshing to refer to his relationship with Yasser Qadi. Did you notice also he said both of us believe in divine revelation?
I did.
So I believe in my Bible, he believes in his Quran, so we have common ground that way. We both believe in divine revelation. And then he kept saying over and over again, this is not a debate. Now, James White has had debates with people all over the world.
That's what he's known for.
That's what he's known for.
Yeah.
And, you know, in a debate, you're refuting the other side.
Right.
This was advertised not as a debate, but as a dialogue or a conversation, meaning the other guy can say whatever he wants. In front of God's sheep, that the pastor is supposed to be protecting, the pastor is supposed to be protecting those sheep.
Right.
But here's the wolf let right into the sheepfold to articulate whatever piece of propaganda, you know, he wants. And, you know, my only point is, look, common ground with Islam is a myth. There is no common ground with Islam. There's nothing to discuss. There is nothing to dialogue about. You're dealing with an antichrist spirit. There's no sense in finding some kind of common bond. There isn't any common bond.
Right.
And so this whole dialogue that James White is engaged in is built on a false premise. You know, you would think a Christian apologist would know a little something about this.
Yes, you would.
Let me back up for just a minute. I'm just trying to explain this is a problem. Different theology. The theology is so different, it's an antichrist spirit.
Yes.
A security risk. Being a puppet for cultural jihad. And not understanding that the person you're dialoguing with is allowed to lie under the guise of taqiyya.
Yes.
And this is all happening not at a Starbucks, not at a local hotel somewhere, not at a ballroom. This is in a church.
Yeah.
And folks, this is a problem.
Yeah.
And you can see why this issue has exploded all over the internet, radio, social media, and so forth. So we need to start discerning what is true biblical evangelism.
Right.
And what's interfaith dialogue. Those are two different things, because I find people are trying to conflate these two ideas.
Yes.
Now, regarding a church, do you bring someone into a church and give them a pulpit to speak who is representing an antichrist spirit? Does the Bible have anything to say about that? I can think of 3 passages. You have 1 Corinthians 10, verses 19 through 21. Now, how does a verse like that square with a Christian apologist bringing an antichrist Islamic propagandist into the church who's also a national security risk and allowing him to say whatever he wants and telling everybody it's not a debate? I don't know, Brother Jim. Are we reading the same Bible? What's going on? That this interfaith dialogue is a Trojan horse. And the only thing it does is it pulls us further and further and further to the left. Let's go out and evangelize Muslims, but let's not do it under the guise of interfaith dialogue.
Right.
Because there is no common ground with an antichrist spirit.
Amen, brother.
And Revelation 17 and verse 1 and verse 15 talks about a one-world religion in the last days, doesn't it?
It does.
Have you ever wondered how in the world the evangelical, Bible-believing church will ever get pulled into that? I mean, we kind of assume that the rapture will happen and we won't be involved in it, but can't that system be constructed before the rapture?
Sure.
It's possible.
Mhm.
How could the Bible-believing church get pulled into that? I used to wonder that all the time. I don't wonder anymore because I've seen the record of interfaith dialogue,
Mhm.
the Trojan horse that it represents,
Yeah.
and what it does. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, folks. I'm not trying to upset anybody. I'm just trying to warn us that we have a big problem on our hands.
We do. We do.
And I think this James White thing has just pushed it to a new level.
Yeah.
It's always been there,
Yeah.
but now it just got kicked up
Yeah.
to the next level.